Yeah, I think the focus for today is going to be a little bit more on twists than usual. But like always, we're going to start seated. Well, like nearly always, we start seated. And we'll just bring our focus to the breath. So just start off with the eyes closed. Take your time just to try and observe how you're sitting here. So trying to get more and more length, trying to get the back neutral. And we're trying actually to get a little bit taller in the torso. I'm keeping my chin tucked slightly or parallel to the ground. Crown of the head lifting up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to focus on the breath, starting to breathe in and out through the nose, long, slow, deep breath. So try and keep your focus on the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. As you inhale, you're pulling in as much air as you can, filling the lungs, expanding the ribs. Exhale, we'll try and make the exhale just as long as the inhale. Long, slow, deep breaths. You can hear your own breathing. Ujjayi breath. You're restricting the flow of air slightly through the throat as you breathe in and breathe out. Making the sound of the ocean. Now let's just work on the shoulders a little bit, just loosen up on the shoulders. So I like to, as I say, I like to work on one shoulder at a time. So I'm bringing one shoulder forward, up, back, and down. Just trying to rotate that shoulder. And then work on the other shoulder. And then both together. Just trying to loosen up there. Do whatever feels good. And then on the next inhale, bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms together, look up. Exhale, bring the arms down and bring the palms together. Inhale, sweep those arms up, looking up. Exhale as they come down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale as they come down. And just rest the hands on the legs. So dedication for today, if you have a dedication, as you know, sometimes we dedicate the class to something or someone. So today, I'm going to dedicate it to my wife, Kim. Two reasons. Over in the States, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so that's one good reason. So I guess we should dedicate the class to all mums. But in addition, Kim has been busy sewing masks. We had a load of old sheets and things prior to this virus issue, and we were making produce bags out of the old sheets so we could use cloth instead of plastic bags. We've got a load of material left over, so we've now been using that material to make these little face masks, and they're pretty cute. Maybe next week I'll dig one out and just show you what they look like. Anyway, a load of neighbours learned that Kim was making them, so she's been having loads of requests. So she's been pretty busy doing that. Anyway, back to yoga. So as I say, we're going to focus on the twist a little bit. So we'll start off with a gentle twist. So take one hand onto the outside of the opposite leg. Other hand is behind you. Now when we do a twist, especially at the beginning of a class, you want to make it nice and gentle because we're not totally warmed up yet. But we're just going to inhale as we get taller and taller, and then we exhale into that twist. Just a nice, easy twist. You're turning the head over towards that back shoulder. Breathe. Inhale out of the twist and exhale over to the other side. And take 2 or 3 breaths here. Inhale back to center. Let's take a bit of a side stretch. Place one hand to one side, so it's a couple of feet away, lined up with the hips. Inhale the arm up, and then we take a side stretch. And we're looking up towards the ceiling this time. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale, we come up, exhale over to the other side. Inhale back up. And then we interlace the fingers. We push the palms in front of us towards my direction, shoulders back, get tall, arms straight. So you're feeling a stretch, probably the arms, a little bit in the shoulders, up across the upper back. Should feel good. And then we start bringing the arms up. We're trying to get the arms either side of the ears. And then maybe look up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Trying to get more and more length with each breath. Keep the arms straight, keep the fingers interlaced. We bring the arms down. We turn the hands up towards the ceiling. Arms are relaxed, shoulders are relaxed. We're just stretching out the fingers here. The palms, the fingers. And then we shake the hands out. So let's come onto our hands and knees. A little bit of cat-cow. Getting the hips over the knees, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale, round in the back, tucking the chin. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. Just move with your breath. Most times I'll start off doing cat-cow early in the class. I think it's a great way to warm the spine up. Trying to get a little bit more mobility in the back. It's almost like you're trying to lubricate those joints. And then we're going to come into child's pose. So toes are together, knees apart, and we're just going to bring the head down to the ground. This just gently stretches the back out. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start walking the hands over to one side. So we're still in child's pose, but we're trying to get a little bit of extra stretch in the lower back, on one side of the lower back. So just walk your arms out as far as you need to find that stretch. And then walk over to the other side. And then come back to center, come onto your hands and knees. So we're going to do, it's a little bit of a similar stretch, but we add a bit of a twist to this. This is called thread the needle. So we're back on our hands and knees, and we're going to take I'm taking the right arm behind the left arm, and then I'm going to lie on that arm on the side of the face. My left hand is pushed into the ground, elbow towards the ceiling. So the more you reach that lower arm towards the side of the room, and the more you push into the ground with that top arm, the more you're going to feel that stretch. Another thing we can do here, we can bring that top arm up, bring it behind the back, reaching for the inside of the opposite thigh. That opens the chest a little bit more. Breathe. And then we're going to switch sides. So come back onto our hands and knees. And we take thread the needle on the other side. Reaching that lower arm. Pushing that other hand into the ground, elbow up. And if you want, top arm comes up, you reach in behind the back, trying to reach for the inside of the thigh. And then we unwind, and we're back on our hands and knees. Bit of core strengthening, so we're just going to bring one leg up. I'm going to keep the hips nice and even. Chin is tucked, you're looking directly at the ground, so you're keeping the neck nicely lined up with the back. Hands pushed into the mat, shoulders up towards the ceiling. Add the opposite arm for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg up, just bring the hand down. Should be starting to feel those glutes working, lower back muscles working. Keep the core engaged. And then we switch. This is always a good thing to do. This helps to stabilize the back. And then we add the opposite arm for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just bring the hand down, keep the leg up. So remember, always push into the ground, shoulders up towards the ceiling, don't sink between the shoulder blades. And then we bring that knee down, and we take 2 or 3 breaths in child's pose. And we come up, we sit on the heels. Let's come into a standing position. And we'll do a little bit of flow. We get the feet parallel, arms either side of you. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, we fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, bring the arms either side of you. Before we do any more flow, just a couple of things I want to say to you guys is, if you have any back concerns, if you're new to yoga, when you fold forward, make sure the knees are bent like this. And as you come up, you're just sort of folding up like this. If your back is good, or you've been doing yoga for a while, you've got more core strength, is you can keep the legs straight and you can come up with a flat back. If you come up with a flat back, you've got to really engage that core. But if that puts any pressure on the lower back, please keep the knees bent. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, breath, core brings us up. Exhale into Samasthiti, mountain pose. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again, relaxing the head. Inhale, breath, core brings us up. Exhale, Samasthiti. This time we're going to take the legs back. So we come to the front of the mat. We inhale as we sweep the arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We come into plank. And we bring the knees down and we keep the elbows in nice and close. We bring the whole body forward and down. Inhaling into cobra, opening that chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Down dog. Let's bring the feet a little bit closer, so a couple of inches between the big toes. And we just walk the dog. We just straighten one leg as we bend the opposite one. We're moving slowly, we're moving with the breath, just stretching out the calf muscles. We then look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, folding forward, inhale, coming all the way up, exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, looking up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we come into plank. Knees down, chin, chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time I'm going to bring one leg up. So I'm bringing the left leg up and I'm going to stack the hips, bending that top knee, trying to get a little bit of a hip opener. Both hands solidly on the ground. Try and open that hip. And then we're going to switch. We'll bring the other leg up. We stack the hips, bend the top knee. Top foot joins the bottom foot. We look forward. We walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We come back into plank. Chaturanga on knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhale into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's bring the right leg up this time. And then we bring that right knee down to the ground and we're going to come into a side plank. Just an easy side plank. So I always, when we're in a pose, I always say, think of straight lines. So we're trying to get a straight line through that top hand, all the way through to that bottom hand. We're breathing. Easy side plank. Side plank on the other side. We're just going to switch straight through, opening up. And then we come back into regular plank. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So let's go into chair pose, Utkatasana. We bend the knees. We bring the arms up. The chair twist. So the way I get into the twist, I'm going to use that one hand to push into the leg. I get a little bit more leverage. And we take that twist, palms together, elbow up towards the ceiling. So ideally, you're pushing that lower arm into the leg to get a little bit of leverage so you can get into a deeper twist. And then we take the twist on the other side. And then we come back into chair, and then we come all the way up, and we shake everything out. So a little bit more challenge. We're going to do a chair twist again, but then we're going to go back into a crescent twist. So we start off in chair. And I'm going to twist to my left side. Doesn't matter which side, as long as you just do each side. But this time, we're going to see if we can transition into crescent twist. So we focus on the feet, and we're going to take that right foot back. If you twist into the left, you take the right foot back into that crescent twist. Again, you're pushing into the arm, getting a little bit of leverage. We bring the hands down, go back in plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands, inhaling halfway up, exhale, folding forward, we bend the knees, we're back in chair, and then we take the twist in the other direction, arm twisting to the right. And then again, we focus on the feet, and you take the left leg back if you're twisting to the right. Once you're there, then you work on getting a little deeper twist. And we come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. And we bring the knees down and we just take child's pose. Don't forget you can take child's pose anytime you like. A little bit of a back bend. We come up, we sit on the heels. We bring the hands behind us. So the fingers are lined up with the toes, chin is tucked, elbows slightly bent. We're opening that chest. And maybe bringing those hips up off the ground. Breathe. We bring the sit bones down. We slide the hands forward. Back into downward facing dog. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, plank. Chaturanga, inhaling the up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep it through. We're coming into warrior one. And we take 2-3 breaths. And then we're just going to swivel on the heels. And we take warrior one in the other direction. And then we're going to go into warrior two. So let's hold warrior two for a little bit. I just want to make sure that you're nicely aligned up. The torso is vertical. If you look at that front knee, the knee is nicely lined up with the center of the foot. Arms parallel to the ground. You're looking over that left arm in that direction. And then we're going to swivel on the heels, hold, kicking the arms up, and we take warrior two in the other direction. And then we're going to sweep that hand through. We come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath or two. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale into Samasthiti. Okay, let's do a couple of standing poses. We'll start off with chair and then we'll do Virudasana, eagle pose. So we're going to be standing on the left leg. Right foot is inside the leg, below the knee or above the knee. And then we bring the palms together, palms to chest. So here the focus is broadening across the collarbone, is keeping that standing leg active. You're working the quads. We then bring the arms up. Palms can be parallel, or if you want, you can have the palms together. And sometimes you lean over to one side. I was in a workshop one time, and people started to move from side to side, and the teacher was from LA, so he had a very sort of slow, droll voice, and he said, and trees sway. And then we come down, we shake everything out.
Did it.
We're on the other side. So tree, I've always liked tree pose. There's a lot going on. We're strengthening that standing leg. We're opening the hip. You're having to focus. You're having to concentrate just to be here. If you focus somewhere on the ground, you're looking at the screen, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to keep that balance. But if you just focus on something not moving, it helps. Helps with the balance. After a while, you're going to feel that standing leg working, and then we bring the arms down. Sometimes, I do little crazy things when I'm just practicing by myself. I'll hold tree for like 4 minutes aside, and you can really feel the back of those legs working, the ankle working. Bring the feet together, bring the arms up, Garudasana. We bring the right arm under the left arm. You get the hands parallel, and then you come into chair. You have the palms together or the back of the hands together. This, you can just stay here. You don't have to go further. If you want to add the legs, if the right arm is under the left arm, that means the right leg comes on top of the left leg. You squeeze those legs together, and then you try and hook the foot. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Once you're there, you center the arms, you lean back slightly. A couple of things you can do with the arms. You can lift them up if you want, or you can see if you can touch the nose. Try one or the other, or you can try one and then the other. Just see how that feels. Whichever you do, you're going to feel a stretch across the upper back. And then we release. We shake everything out. Arms up. Other side, left arm under right arm, hands parallel. We come back into chair. And then we bring the left leg on top. We squeeze those legs. You've got to squeeze them if you've got any chance, any hope of trying to hook that foot. If it doesn't hook, no problems. Everyone's different. We then center the arms, maybe touch the nose, breathe. And then we release, shaking everything out. We bring the arms up, inhale. Exhale, we fold forward and down. We come halfway up. We plant the hands, we come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog. Exhale, down dog. Stay in downward facing dog. I'm going to bring my left leg up so you guys can see me. And then come into a lunge. I'm going to bring that top foot between the hands, back knee comes down to the ground. So just like in the chair twist, where we took one hand to get a little bit of leverage, we bring the other arm outside and palms together. So this is another way to get into that crescent twist. You can keep the knee down if you want, or you can bring the knee up with the back in that crescent twist. Hold it for about 3 breaths. And we slowly lower the knee. See how slow you can lower it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the other leg up, your right leg, and then we come into the lunge. And maybe bring the arms up, and then into the twist on the other side. Using that right hand, push into the leg, get a little bit more leverage. Elbow up towards the ceiling, and then maybe bring that back knee off the ground. And then we very slowly lower the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we come back into plank. This time we're going to hold plank. So plank, it's challenging. As I say, you'd never want to sort of lower the hips too much like this. We're trying to keep neutral back. You're breathing. Knees can come down if you want. You're looking at the ground. You're pushing the hands into the ground, shoulders up. Side plank. Bring one hand to center, stack the feet, bring the other arm up. Options here, bottom knee can be down or the top foot can be down in front of you. Or if you want more challenge, the top leg comes up. You can even look up towards the ceiling. Don't forget to breathe and hold the breath. And then we take plank again, and side plank on the other side. Bottom knee can be down if you want. Remember, straight lines, keep pushing that lower hand into the ground. Maybe bring the top leg up, breathe. Bring the leg down, we're back in plank, and we come into child's pose. And then slowly come back up. So there's a few twists. We're going to do some seated stuff. Some of this is from the Ashtanga series. So what we're going to do, we're going to come into a seated position, and we're just going to take, let's take the right leg forward and pull the left knee in. And then we're going to reach that arm forward. This is not really this twist, this is a little bit more of a forward bend. And let's see if we can bring that arm round the left. And can you even hook the fingers? And we're just folding forward. And then we're going to switch. So this straight leg, kneecap, toes are up towards the ceiling. You then reach forward, and you see if you can bring that arm round, and we see if we can hook onto the fingers. And we just fold, gently fold forward. Same action with the legs, but this time we're going to add more of a twist. So, one thing about seated twists, if you have any concerns with your knees, it's probably easier for the knee if you keep that leg straight. Sometimes you remember we do a twist where we bend both knees in and we're doing this kind of thing. If this leg is straight and we're doing the twist, which is what we're going to do now, it keeps that knee nice and safe. Actually, we're going to bring the foot inside the leg for this one. And we're going to hug the knee. And again, I'm pushing into that leg, so I'm trying to get a little bit more opening. You bring the other hand behind you. Now, if you want to go deeper into the twist, you can bring the arm outside the leg. You try and get taller and taller, and then you look over towards the back of the room. Try and keep the shoulders soft. Some people will shrug the shoulders up like that. So try not to just let the shoulders shrug up, and you're looking over towards the back of the room. I'm really pushing that arm into the leg to get a little bit of leverage. Inhale out of the twist, and we're just going to switch legs. And we're either hugging the other leg, or bringing the arm outside the leg. That's that lower leg, try and keep the knee up, toes up. You inhale, getting tall, exhale into that twist. Inhale, unwind. We cross the legs. We come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, opening that chest as much as you can. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold down dog, 3 or 4 breaths. Chin is touch, you're looking between the legs. You're pushing the thumb, index finger into the ground. You're pulling the armpits down. You're trying to get more and more length. Eventually the heels are going to come to the ground. You're trying to straighten that line out, wrists through the shoulders to the hips. Back is neutral. Try not to round the back. Bend the knees if you need to, so the back isn't rounded. And then we come into child's pose, knees down, totally relax. Let's see, how are we doing for time here? Doing good. So let's come into pigeon. So we're going to come back on our hands and knees. And we're facing dog. We bring the right leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog. And then you look forward and you're going to bring that right knee towards the right wrist. So the right knee is off center slightly, it's over to the right side of the center. Keep the right knee more to center if you feel too much groin stretch. So opening the chest, this is raised pigeon. And then we're going to look up and we're going to slowly fold forward, come into extended pigeon. We'll bring the head down towards the ground, resting the forehead on the hands. Just relax. And then we come back up. And then we're going to see if we can add a twist while we're in pigeon. So we're going to twist, I'm going to twist to my right side. So I'm going to bring my left arm onto the right leg. And just like the crescent twist, we bring the palms together, elbow up. A little bit of challenge to keep the balance sometimes. Do what you can. And then we unwind. We tuck the toes of the back foot. We come back into downward facing dog. We walk the dog. And then we bring the other leg up. So this time is going to be, I sometimes get the legs mixed up. So this time it's the right leg. That's the left leg. We bring that foot forward. Walking the right foot back. So we'll start off in raised pigeon. So opening that chest. So I'm grabbing, I don't know if you can see me properly, but I'm trying to grab the mat or the floor with the toes. And I'm actually trying to walk that foot back a little bit. So that's just trying to get the stretch that's good for me. You might not need to do that, it might be too much. You want to try and keep the hips nice and even. Don't let one hip be lower than the other hip. Extended pigeon. Resting the head on the ground or the hands. Take a few breaths. And then if you want to add a twist, we come back into raised pigeon. We're bringing that arm onto the leg. So I'm trying to get the arm a little bit outside the knee if I can. I'm using that other hand just to open up and then palms together. Pushing into that lower leg, getting into that twist. Breathe. And we unwind. We come back into down dog and walk the duck. This always feels good after that pigeon. A lot going on in pigeons. Quite a hip opener. And then we're going to bring the knees down. And we're back on the heels. And we're going to come down onto our backs. And we'll do bridge. Yeah, what you'll notice is there's some poses I like to do. So bridge is one of them, tree is one of them. So if you have a block, which is good. If you don't have a block, I don't know, maybe a book or something is good for you. So we're on our backs. We walk the feet in nice and close. And then we're just going to lift the hips up. You're trying to keep the feet parallel, the legs parallel. And we're going to keep the gaze towards the ceiling. Remember, we don't look from side to side. Don't gaze to the side, just gaze towards the ceiling. We then interlace the fingers. We walk the shoulders in close. We push the head, the arms, the hands into the ground. We're breathing. So what I'd like you to do in bridge is actually keep the feet glued to the mat, but try and pull the feet in towards you. That should stop the legs splaying out. It should work the right muscles for you. And if you have a block, you can take the block and just slide it underneath and just rest on the block, coming into a restorative bridge. If you don't have a block, you've got nothing to rest on, you can just come out, you can just sort of lie in Shavasana for a few breaths. In bridge, even in this restorative bridge, we're getting an opening of the upper chest. We're still keeping our gaze towards the ceiling, we're not turning the head from side to side, so don't be tempted to do that. I just want you to relax here. This is a relaxing pose. And then we're going to bring the hips up. So I'm pushing my feet into the ground, hips come up, block is removed. And then I slowly bring down the back, upper back, mid back, lower back. Knees coming nice and close and just rock from side to side. Bring the right foot down to the ground. You bring in the left leg onto that right leg. So we're making a figure four. This is reclined pigeon. And we're just going to hold on to the back, that right leg. You're trying to keep the tailbone down. The foot as close to you as flexed. And we're just going to rock from side to side a few times. Just massaging the lower back. And then we're going to switch legs. Bringing the other foot on top. Taking hold of the back of your left leg this time. Right foot is flexed. If the right foot is closest to you. And keeping the chin tucked, don't forget, head down the ground, tailbone low, and then we just rock from side to side. And then happy baby, both knees come in nice and close. Knees are wider than hips. Soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, and you're going to see if you can hold on to those feet. If that's not possible, just hold on to the legs somewhere. If you can, just hold on to I usually hold on to the outside of the feet. You can hold on to the inside if you prefer. You're trying to keep the tailbone as low as you can. So I'm using quite a lot of arm strength. And then we're going to see if we can straighten the legs into a V. You can hold on to the feet. Some people like to hold on to the big toes, palms face each other. And we see if we can straighten the legs to some degree. They might not go totally straight, that's fine. What happens sometimes is the tailbone comes off the ground. Try and keep the tailbone as low as you can. And the shoulders pulled away from the ears. So for me, I feel this a little bit on the inside of the legs and also the back of the knees. And then we're going to bring both feet to the ground. Knees are bent. We walk the feet in fairly close, and we did this last week where we do what I call windshield wipers. And we bring the arms either side of us. We just take the knees over from side to side. And this is going to stretch out the outside of the hip a little bit. And you want to move with the breath. Inhale as the knees come up, exhale as they go down. So we're just going from side to side. So let's try this. Let's take the left leg, and we're walking that left foot over. So you're trying to get 90 degrees at that left knee. The left knee, the left hip, and the shoulder are all lined up. And then you're going to take the right foot and gently rest it on that left leg. So just sort of adding a little bit of extra, just a little bit of extra weight, not too much. But we're trying, as I say, with the left knee is bent, it's 90 degrees, the left knee, the left hip, and the left shoulder all nicely lined up. And then we're going to switch. Take your time. So this time we're lining up the right knee, the right hip, the right shoulder. Right knee is 90 degrees. And then we just gently bring that other leg on top. If this bothers the knee, don't bring the foot on top. What we're trying to do is just open a little bit more on the outside of that right hip here. And then we bring the feet back onto the ground. We bring the left leg up, and we're just going to point the toes towards the ceiling, point and flex. And then we just circle the foot one direction. We circle in the other direction. We point and flex again a few times. And then we take hold of the other leg. We point and flex. We circle one direction. And then we circle in the other direction. And we point and flex a few more times. And then we pull the knees in. We take hold of the back of the legs. We lift the head up and we rock ourselves up. Oh, I guess we might as well do both. So we're holding onto the back of the legs. Arms either side of you if you want more challenge. Keep onto the legs if you've got any back concerns. And then we start to bring the legs up. We're trying to get a V shape. We're trying to open the chest. So try not to round the back like this. You're trying to open up the chest, trying to get that back neutral. You're breathing. And if you look at the legs, the knees pointing up, try not to let the knees out to the side. Toes are up towards the ceiling. You're breathing. And then we cross the feet. We bring the hands onto the ground. And we come up. And down and back into both. That's a challenge. But even if you can't do that, you're using the muscles, the right muscles, to try and do it. And it helps to strengthen the core. One more time. Cross the feet. Lift yourself up and down. Pull the feet in. And come into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. You're pulling the feet in nice and close. You're holding onto the outside of the feet. You're rocking from side to side as you gradually pull the heels in closer to the body. And you become still. And then you're trying to pull the hips forward. Trying to keep the back neutral. And you're trying to persuade the legs to come closer to the ground. Now, if you can get the legs all the way down, try this. So this is just for some of us. If you can get the legs all the way down, you're going to push the forearms into the legs and just gently fold forward and hold that for a few breaths. If you can't get the legs down, just stay up nice and tall. As I say, if your knees are up, if your back's rounded, you've got tight hips, it's sitting on a block or a book, something like that helps. So just do what you can. We're all different here, so. And then we're going to cross the legs. We're going to bring the hands onto the knees. And then we're going to bring the right arm up, shoulder back. And we're going to take hold of the outside of that arm, and we're going to stretch the arm out. Feeling a gentle stretch, upper arm and the back. And then gradually pull that arm in a little bit closer. Each inhale, we're getting taller. Each exhale, we're pulling the arm in a little bit closer. And we switch. Bring the other arm up, parallel to the ground. Arm back, and pull that arm in. Just finding an easy stretch. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, we go deeper into that stretch. And we then fold forward. And we're going to rest. Actually, let's make fists with the hands. And stack the fists and rest the forehead on the top fist. We're just trying to feel a gentle stretch in the back. Maybe if you want to go low with the head, you can just stack the hands. Do whatever it takes. We come back up. We interlace the fingers. So you're keeping the arms pretty relaxed to begin with. You're trying to pull the shoulders down, shoulder blades together, and then we fold forward again. And this time we're lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the shoulders happy. Take your time. And then we slowly come back up. And then we just move the shoulders again. Loosening up. And let's take another easy twist. Basically, we're ending how we started, right? So bring the right hand to the outside of the leg, bring the other hand behind you. This time we can go a little bit deeper. If the body's nice and warm, we inhale, getting tall, exhale into that twist. Inhale, getting tall, exhale into that twist. Inhale, we unwind. Exhale, twisting in the other direction. Inhale, unwind. We come onto our backs. We pull the knees in close and we just rock from side to side. We take a full body stretch. We're extending the legs. We're bringing the arms over the head, trying to get as much length as we can. Keep reaching with the arms, keep reaching with the legs. Then take a little bit of a side stretch. You're still on your back, you're just going to get into that banana shape, stretching out the side ribs and the hip. And then we stretch out the other side. And then we recenter. And we're going to come into Shavasana. So make sure you've got length in the back of the neck. So I actually lift my head up, tuck the chin slightly, head comes back down. If you need a pillow or something under the head, that you can do that. Arms either side of your palms face up, legs apart, feet totally relaxed, eyes closed, and just let yourself sink into the ground and bring focus to the breath. Long, slow breaths. Just check out the body. Make sure you're not holding any tension. Sometimes we hold tension without realizing it. So, if you can scan the body just from the feet, working your way up, just make sure everything's relaxed. And then start to walk the feet in. Knees come in, and then just roll up to one side. And just take about 3 breaths going on your side. And then gently push yourself up into a seated position. So come into a seated position, legs crossed. I'm just going to enable mics here. I've actually found a shortcut to do this. Control M. And we're going to do a couple of breaths, and we'll do 3 arms. Come into a seated position. Bring the palms together, palms to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste.